Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to another meeting of Almaty Toastmasters Club. My name is Gaukhar and I have an order to be the Toastmaster of the day. I don't have my gavel, so I'll just call meeting to an order. If you came for the first time, let me tell you what Toastmasters clubs really are. Toastmasters is a worldwide organization aimed to improve public speaking. It has more than 15,000 clubs in more than 135 countries. We say that every week, but today we have a proof because we have a special guest tonight. A member of the Flushing Toastmasters Club from New York. Her name is Dilbar. She's going to be our general evaluator tonight. Would you raise your hand? So, yeah. We will have a regular meeting with prepared speeches, evaluation session, and table topics. If you're new to the club, you will understand what that means, so don't worry. In every Toastmasters club, we have a leadership team, and we're in this transition moment where we had elections last week, so we have a brand new leadership team. So let me introduce you the officers. Our president, Tom Bertkowski, is out of town. So we have our new VP of Education, Greg Hiva. Greg, would you explain your role?
My role? I don't know what my role is actually. I have to read the book to find out what it encompasses. The education role basically ensures that all members, when they become all members in the club, new and current members, are aware of all the training manuals that we have, which is basically the literature which you get when you become a member first time. And in here this is our Bible basically, and the VP for Education will make sure that everyone is aware of what's in there and how they go about meeting all the tasks that are contained in there basically. And there's other roles as well about organising speech competitions, the mentorship program. There's a vast array of roles which I'll be in charge of from the 1st of July. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. We have a Vice President for Public Relations, Aliya Shaykhina. Would you tell us what your role is?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'm responsible for making sure the information gets out there to the general public, and I currently am happy to say we have a very solid public relations committee team, which consists of our newly elected teammates, Gaukhar and Aisha, who are now in the leadership team as well, and Shokar Medias, our webmaster. So all the social media, the email distribution, anything that's going well, let us know. Anything that's not going well, let me know. So thank you and welcome. And as a small disclaimer, I would like to point out that we are filming the entire meeting and we're taking photographs. So if you do not wish your pictures to be uploaded to social networks, please let Aliya or me or any members know, because we're doing the publicity. I'm VP of Membership, so if you would like to know what it means to be a member, please talk to me or just any members. We have a Vice President of Social Events, our new role.
Good evening, dear friends. I'm new elected VP of Social Events, and my main responsibilities are to make sure that members of the club organize social events which are part of another booklet, competent leadership booklet, which is part of that program. Make sure that we have a schedule of events for next 2-3 months. So if you have ideas or if you want to organize a social event, you should contact me and I will put your event in the schedule. Thank you.
Our new secretary is Aisha. Would you please explain what your role is?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm the new secretary of our club. My responsibility is to take minutes and notes of every meeting and meeting of our leadership team. Glad to see all of you here today.
Thank you. So let's start the regular meeting. I would like to invite our general evaluator, Gaukhar, to present her to the club, and she will introduce her helpers, accountant, grammarian, and timer. So would you please come here?
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Members, welcome guests, good evening. I see everyone's very hungry tonight. Good evening.
Good evening.
So tonight I am here all the way from New York just to evaluate your meeting and have a little bit of comments. But tonight I want to help the speakers that we have tonight who are going to present here at the podium to help them figure out where they can improve and what points they did really well. And here to help us do that tonight, we have the counter here to my left, who perhaps can help share what she's going to be doing tonight.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today my role is an accountant, and today I will count inappropriate words and sounds, words and repeated words like so, you know, and interjections such as are. Please take care of your speech and take note.
Be prepared because you'll take a lot of notes from me. And there we go. So my next person on my team, our grammarian, I get him. If you can please stand and tell us what you're going to be doing tonight.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Aygeran. I'm going to be your grammarian for today, which means that I will listen to your speeches carefully, make notes of the mistakes that you make, and comment on them in the end of the meeting. So mainly I will concentrate on focus on grammar, general English, and a little bit of pronunciation as well. So, and everything will be according to my English level, of course, which is not perfect too. So yeah, but mainly I will obviously focus on really obviously wrong mistakes. So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to do. And next stage is to introduce you with the word of the day, which you can see on the desk over there. It's devastating, which means highly destructive. So you can say devastating speech or devastating earthquake, or for example, his father has devastating charisma, and that's why he's very, successful in business, and so on. So thank you for your attention, and good luck with your speeches.
Speaking of devastating, I feel like that's what my evaluation tonight is going to be like. And last but not least, we have one of the most important roles to present tonight. Our timer, Yerki Bunada.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I'm in charge of time for today. So my main role is to keep track of time for speakers. And I have these cards, like red, yellow, and green. And when I show you the green card, it's okay for you. You can continue your speech. And when I show you the yellow card, it means that you are in the half way from the minimum and maximum time. And when I show you the red card, and you just please complete your sentence and end your speech. That's all. Thank you very much.
And you'll see all of us again later tonight. But for now, I turn back over to our Toastmasters.
Thank you so much for our evaluator. So we're looking forward to comprehensive reports in the end of the meeting. So let's start the prepared speeches, because this is what we will come for. Our first speaker is speaking for the first time in the club. She has her own business, so she's a sole proprietor, very serious lady. She is a mother because she has a very beautiful daughter, and she's interested in learning new languages and improving her public speaking. I'm very happy to introduce you Saltanat Kali and her ice-breaking speech.
Saltanat. I'm sorry I prepared my speech, but I have to look at it sometimes because this is first time. So recently I've been contemplating about the purpose of life and what my personal purpose and mission in life is. Is it about just living, studying, working and having a family, or is it something more? I was brought up by Soviet-minded parents. What they were saying to me is that you have to study well, work, find a good job, and work there for at least several years. So I studied hard and well. I entered and graduated from a good university. I've been working for several big and well-known companies, had my master's degree done, but after all this I had some dissatisfaction in me. Then I decided to start my own business. I thought this will give me more satisfaction. And yes, it did. Doing your business is really cool. It's freedom, you do what you want and when you want. Of course, there are many difficulties in it and the level of responsibility. So what I'm doing is I provide delivery services for IKEA goods. I'm doing it since last February 2015. My client base is actually small right now, but I've been consistently providing excellent customer service so that my clients would remain loyal to me and give referrals. And the segment of loyal customers is continuously growing. Well, the business side seems to be okay for me. But why there is still dissatisfaction in me? As if there was something missing. I suppose that all this time I was doing what I expected to do, but not what I like to do and what I enjoy to do. So now I'm on my way of remembering my forgotten dreams, identifying my strengths and mission in life. This turned out to be not easy actually, but there's a saying, journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. I came to Almaty Toastmasters Club to learn and to be a good public speaker. I believe that once this skill is gained, the door that is hiding my purpose in life will open up. There's a huge desire in me to contribute to society and by delivering messages that will be valuable to people. To do so, I came here to learn from all of you. I really admire you guys for what you've been doing. You've been coming here, giving wonderful speeches on various topics. I've been to one club meeting and 2 extracurricular activities, and this Jordan restaurant and bowling. Also, I watched several videos on your YouTube channel. So what I noticed is that besides public speaking skills, all of the Toastmaster members are very nice and smart individuals with whom it is very interesting to spend time together. So thank you for your attention. It's been a short speech.
Our second speaker is a very interesting person. successful legal practice to teach, and he's teaching English and French languages. He loves fantasy books and he loves poetry. So with that introduction, let me introduce you Andrei Reshetnikov, our member, who's going to present his project number 6, Refugee Crisis.
So who I am? I'm a human, right? Person, living. Look at this body. So intricate. Fingers, how it works. And where I was born. I was born in Soviet Union, and then I grew up in Kazakhstan. It was different, but the same thing always was that it was in peace. I lived a peaceful life. I never saw troops coming. I never saw the fight, real fight, except in the video. But imagine I was born in Africa, in Colombia, in Somalia, in Syria. I can't imagine. Maybe you can, but I cannot. I cannot understand it. I cannot understand the people living in devastating conditions. They live with no water, no sanitation, no housing, no food enough for them. They are hungry. They are angry. Are they humans? Yes, they are, as I am, as you are. But they live different life. How is that? Why is that possible? We live in a peaceful country. We think about what to wear, where to go, and they think about what to eat and where will I be? Will I live tomorrow? Or maybe I won't live, I will be dead. And when I think about how it is possible, I think about the wars. I can understand the First World War. Okay, Germany wanted more territory. It wanted to be rich. Okay, Germany always wants to be more territory. I understand it. I understand some religious wars, but it's difficult, but I can understand. We believe in this way, we believe in that way, and something occurs that you cannot cope with it and you cannot live together. So just sorts of person who, I'm a politician and a simple teacher, English teacher who tries to figure out how it works. But I cannot understand terrorist attacks. I cannot understand their logic. What you want to achieve. You claim you kill people, you kill professors, you destroy the culture, you destroy everything we created, persons created. And what you want to do, I just cannot find the word. I just can't see what happens. What is it with these people? And about it, I just follow some news stories about the persons I speak with people, and I have been studying in France, and I studied human rights there, and we had a lot of discussion about Africa, and a lot of heated discussion, heated religious discussion about Quran, heated discussion about Africa. That's not a country, a lot of countries there, and Africa it's mess, I think, because a lot of countries, there are a lot of conflicts, and look at the map of Africa. The map is like the squares, but the territory is not like this one. It is created by people, it's not by nature itself, so it's complicated in Africa. And one girl asked me, for example, I don't follow news because I find them sad. I find them sad, I don't follow them. I prefer to live in a world when everything is pink and rose, when there are a lot of, I don't know, kittens, blue balloons, and I have cakes every day, I have everything for me, so I don't care about it. Please don't even tell me about it. Don't tell me because I don't want it. Get out. Go away. I don't want it. I don't want the stories about it. But I want to know because I'm interested in something and try to understand it. And when I see the stories and when I see the human fate, which is very sad effects, negative effects, people dying, I become sad. But I want to know what happens. I want to know what happens beyond Kazakhstan, and I want to actually read you the story. But can you please? I want to. What I want to do? Sorry. So I will switch the light off and just concentrate. Can you switch the light off there, please? And I will read you a story of a person. Sorry. But I need light, so it's my light. So the story of a person, of family Tonga in Africa. I just created the story, but it could be as real as we are right now. So family Tonga is one of the sheep among the 500 people overall. They're traveling from the island from Syria to Italy to find the refuge there. So they fight from the war there. So when Tonga lived, he had a wife and 2 children, one of whom was a baby. So imagine the dialogue on a boat. "Pa, I want a cup of water." Bodies everywhere, wet bodies, the heat, the sun is merciless. "Pa, I want a cup of water." "Have to wait some." Baby stopped crying 2 hours ago. Maybe he stopped breathing also. The engine died off and the boat started just drifting. "Pa, I want a cup of water." How curious. Water is everywhere, but it is like poison to drink. 2 helicopters flew over the boat, giving the people false hopes because it didn't save them. "Pa, I want a cup of water." "I know." And the baby died. They were forced to throw it to the water. In an attempt to attract the nearby ship, they lighted a blanket, and it caused the fire on the ship, and the ship was sunk. And on the 7th of October, it was reported that rescue operation had been held. 155 people had been rescued. The rest, about 300 people, had been recovered, including Tonga and his family, dead corpses. That's all. So, this is a story about people who not are like us. They are people who have different faith. And it's very sad to hear about it, but I think that we should hear about it. And about this girl, I want to say to her that you can always live in this world, but just remember that in the other side, the people are just starving and have nothing to eat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrei. That was very interesting, and I think it's important to raise the awareness because I feel like sometimes I'm like the girl from your story who doesn't want to read news, and we all try to live in a more positive world, but it's important to know the reality, to face what's happening right now to people who are less endowed than we are. Our third speaker is already getting ready. Let me introduce our third speaker to you. As you can see from your agenda, he's from Taraz, a city in the south of Kazakhstan. He loves playing big tennis. If he had a chance to have a lunch with anyone, he would have a lunch with Barack Obama. So it's very interesting. He's a new member to our club, but he's quite experienced because he transferred from another club. Is everything all right?
Yeah, you need to just turn on the screen. Read that.
So yeah, the holidays holidays are coming, and if you have 4 days of holidays, consider visiting Taraz, because I'm sure it's an amazing city and it's not too far from us. I've never been to there, but I'm pretty sure Yelnur can convince us. And remember to use the word of the day, and I forgot to remind you at the beginning of the meeting, please switch off your phones or put them on silent mode so they would not distract our speakers. So please help me welcoming Yelnur Sadamaldiev and his speech, Legends of Taraz.
Thank you, Miss Toastmaster. Tonight, I'm going to speak about my hometown, Taraz. It has given everything to me which I have today. And I've decided to give something back by speaking in front of you about this remarkable city with great spirit. In fact, Taraz is the most ancient city in our country, more than 2,000 years old. And it's a city where Kazakh nation was founded in the first place. That's where our history starts. But I'm not going to speak about how beautiful it is, what kind of buildings are there, and stuff like that. You can check all those things by yourself in the internet. What I'm going to speak about is the legends. And believe me, for more than 2,000 years, the city has got a lot to share with all of us. My speech is about how those legends happened in the past, they repeated again in our days, which proves that the city has never lost its spirit. It has always been great, and it still is. So I'm going to tell you about 3 stories. That's it. No big deal. About greatness. It's about educating yourself, being intelligent, and making a contribution to your society. In 15th century, there was a famous Tarazian. His name was Muhammad Haydar Dulati. He was one of the outstanding and the greatest scientists of his time. And apart from contributing to his own society, he also wrote 2 books, historical. And thanks to those books, nowadays, many scientists and historians can make the analysis of what was happening at that time in our region. He made the great contribution to the world history and the development of humanity. And let me tell you how it repeated again in our days. Shirkhan Murtaza is another great Tarazian of all time. He was an orphan without a father, living in the village, and his family was so poor. In his autobiography, he once wrote that for the first time he got full properly with food at the age of 13 when he entered the boarding school in the city. He studied hard. Later he entered the university in Moscow and graduated with distinction. He became a legendary journalist and writer. He wrote more than 10 books and made a great contribution to the development of Kazakh language, literature, and culture. He also translated the books of Hans Christian Andersen and Chingiz Aytmatov into Kazakh, and many Kazakh-speaking people, including me, could read those books and learn a lot. That's how he's going to be remembered for his great contribution to the development of his society because of his hard work and intelligence. Next slide. My next story is about love. A legend happened in 11th century. Emir of Taras, Karahan Baba, fell in love with young 16 years old lady Aisha Bibi. They decided to get married, but her father was against that marriage. But couple still decided to be together. She left her hometown with her nanny to travel to Taras to unite herself once and forever with her sweetheart. But on the way to Taras, when only 10 kilometers left, they decided to have a rest on the shore of the lake. And right at that time, the snake bit her. The message immediately reached Karahan Baba and he immediately got there. When he arrived, she was about to die. But he decided to still marry her. In fact, it's the only case in the history of humanity when the king married almost dead woman. And as a memory of his love, he built a mausoleum which has stood for more than 1,000 years and it's still there. And it's a place of pilgrimage for any couple who want to be together forever. And let me tell you how this legend repeated again in our days. Ainur and Bolat, they were two Bolashak students studying in the UK. They met each other there and they fell in love with each other. People who knew tell that they deeply loved each other. They decided to get married and everything was arranged in Taras and everyone was waiting for them. They decided to take a flight through Baku and Aktau to Taras. And the plane between Baku and Aktau during its flight over Caspian Sea got crashed and sank into the sea. When the rescue team found their bodies, they discovered that they were tied to each other by seat belt. They decided to die together. A special monument was built in Taras to immortalize their love. And again, it became a legend for the generations ahead. My third story, the last one, it's about dignity. It's about protecting your people, standing up against enemy. 18th century was a devastating time for Almaty city, former Taras. It was invaded by Gaukhar Empire. And Gaukhar Empire imposed the tax for the citizens of the Taras. But the tax was high and unbearable. But the rule was, if they don't pay the taxes, they have to give their wives and daughters. But Bayezid Batur decided to stand up against and let the rebels group. He made the army of Gaukhar to leave the Taras. And Gaukhar understood they cannot defeat this man. They decided to cheat. They invited him for peaceful negotiations, and when he showed up, they caught him. And they killed him by keeping just in front of this gun and fired the gun. And let me tell you how it repeated in our time. 2011, my hometown experienced the biggest tragedy. There was a terrorist attack organized by Islamist extremists. A terrorist was shooting the people on the street, walking around. For half a day, the whole city was under big threat. But the captain of police, Gaziz Baytasov, came across the terrorist. And instead of running away, he started fighting with the terrorist. And when he realized that terrorist has a bomb and he's going to explode it, he covered the terrorist by his own body. He sacrificed his own life. His two sons became orphans, and his dearest wife lost her husband. But he died with dignity in order to protect his own people. As a child, I grew up listening all those stories, just like any other Tarasian did. Those legends teach us certain values. The first legend teaches us that to care more about educating yourself, education rather than having the high position or title. The second legend teaches us to care more about loving someone who is worth of loving instead of having many girlfriends. And the third legend teaches us to care more about not losing your soul and dignity rather than being just rich. Because of those values, the city has gone through all the types of disasters in this life and has never fallen. So legends still live among us. Thank you.
Thank you, Yudmur. That was amazing. I'm speechless. I don't know why I'm Toastmaster tonight, because I'm speechless. So I give you 3 minutes to discuss prepared speakers. Just turn to your neighbor and share what you learned. What do you think about the speeches?
Whenever I have an evaluation, I have
I see our fellow Toastmasters and guests really enjoyed the speeches. So let's move on to our next part, which is evaluation session, because an important part of being in Toastmasters Club is you get evaluated by your fellow Toastmasters, and we all strive to give positive but constructive feedback. So let me introduce you to our first speech evaluator, Greg, who will be evaluating an icebreaker speech given by Sultanat.
Where's Sultanat? Sultanat. First of all, Sultanat, congratulations on giving your first speech with our club. Well done. Now, for everybody here, most people would know the icebreaker is the first speech that anyone does with a club, and it really serves two purposes. And the first one is an individual thing, I think, and so it's for Sultanat, and that is it's your first step in our club, and it's a small. We try and make it a small step, even though it can be difficult, and it probably is difficult. But it's basically for you to see how it feels up here, and I guess if it's something that you want to continue with and become a member of our club and keep participating, etc. So I want to ask you, how did it feel, and how did you think that you went?
I was spending the whole day preparing my speech, and I found that the main thing is not only preparing speech, it's also delivering speech. So I did my homework as partly, and I need to spend also one day to revise it.
I think, yeah, well maybe, yeah, but anyway, I think from what it looked like from where I was sitting, and that was quite close, you needn't worry too much. It'll come across very well, and you did a great job. Now, the second purpose of the giving an icebreaker speech is for the audience to get to know you. And that's important because, well, if you're going to become a member of our club, then we're going to be spending a lot more time with you, and we want to know who it is that we're admitting into our club. So we need to be able to think, is that someone that we want to be as a fellow member? And usually, actually, I think 100% of the time, it's yes, because we've never said no to a person who wants to join yet, but that's basically the formal purpose of the second formal purpose of it. And let me tell you that I think you did a great job in introducing yourself. Why I really liked it was because I thought it was a very good icebreaker. We got to know a little bit about you, but at the same time, I thought your icebreaker story was kind of entwined within a bigger speech, almost like with a greater meaning, and it was like your mission in life and how you've like gone to different parts of your life, trying to find what it is, what's your purpose, and then you've come to this point in your life, and you kind of realise that you still don't know if you've reached that purpose or you know what that purpose is, and you've come to Toastmasters to find out what that is. You think that Toastmasters is that vehicle and perhaps will open the doors up for you, and I think that was just wonderful how you kind of told that story and how it came about, and so I think that was one of the better icebreakers that I've seen from all our many icebreakers that I've seen. So fantastic. Just quickly wrapping up, I'd like to I don't think there should be any criticism, particularly for an icebreaker speech, so I won't give any criticism, but I'll just say that when you become a member, because I know that you will, because you enjoyed it so much, you'll learn these things, and that is when you come on the stage, you don't need to say my name is, because that's Toastmasters' job, and our Toastmasters did a great job in introducing you, so we already knew your name, so you could have just skipped that part, for example, yeah, but you'll learn that. And you don't have to give excuses about being up here. We just want to hear what your story is, and like you said, well, I'm going to use notes, and I'm sorry because it's my first time. You don't need to worry about things like that. We just want to hear your story, and there's no excuses. We just love to hear from you, and it was fantastic. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg, for such a diligent evaluation. I hope this will encourage our guests to sign up for nice ice-breaking speeches. Our next evaluator is very experienced. He will be evaluating Andrei's project number 6. So please help me welcome young Andrei.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Today I'm here to evaluate project number 6 of Andrei, vocal variety. I liked your choice of the topic, it was really emotional. But before that, let me introduce the objectives of the speech. Use pauses to enhance your message. Use vocal variety smoothly and naturally. Use voice, volume, pitch, rate and quality to reflect and add meaning to and interest to your message. Quite long objectives. So I liked really your emotional choice of the topic. It was really touching. I guess everyone was quite feeling sad inside. What I also liked is usage of dialogues. You used almost 2 dialogues with a little girl, and second was also with a little girl. It's a really good technique. You have to use your voice, and when you use dialogue in your speeches, you try to imitate voice of a girl, voice of the father, and it really helps. But what I really suggested in the first part of your topic, when you was talking about the war, your pitch was same as the story of that little girl. I think they're emotionally on a quite different level. So when you was talking about the little girl, you could use some slow or just a low voice. Your voice was quite audible. I think everyone was hearing you without any problem. Nice questions you had. If you use questions in your speech number 6, it will help you to use the vocal variety really good. And what else? Good usage of the dialogues. What I can suggest you had a text you was reading at, and it's just a text you can be like reading really well, without pauses. But you used some filler words. Like you were thinking, like.
Bad writing, and I am very bad at writing.
I saw that you was prepared, but please get all the objectives noted on yourself, and please have a paper for the evaluator. I still have time, right? Okay. And to make the speech more effective, yeah, you could use a manual and follow all the objectives. you had really interesting topic. I was thinking like he didn't quite read the manual, so I guess he will be like have some trouble with the speech. But your speech I really liked. Vocal usage was really good. Speech topic was really good. Questions, dialogues, and yeah, I think that's all. Very emotional. I think you should use also pauses after some questions. You ask a question and use just a 2 seconds pause, so everyone would have some answer for that questions. It is really helpful to emphasize your point, question, pause, point. Overall, I liked your speech. Good luck with your next speeches. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaukhar. And now we move on to our third evaluation. Yegor was doing his advanced project from the manual speaking to inform, and his evaluator is Gaukhar Abdurrahmanova.
Good evening. It was my great pleasure to evaluate your speech because he has done advanced manual project number 2 called Resources for Informing, which means that the main focus of his presentation was to satisfy audience's level of knowledge and background and direct the speech, the information which he provided to the interest of all of us. And there are a number of things I really liked in your presentation, Yernur. The first one is excellent voice projection. I suppose who has been here knows that it's a bit difficult to make you yourself heard at the end of the audience, and therefore I really liked how well you kept it from the very beginning until the end without losing, having a more silent tone and other things. But I would say that here I suppose it would be better to add some voice modulations as well. So, because at some points I just felt just a little bit bored due to the a bit monotonous way of the presentation. Another great thing for me is the level of preparation that really feels, especially for experienced speakers. You have seen there was a great slide which was really up to the point, and everything was on the slides. Even if you have missed some information, you could catch it up looking at the visual aid. So the third thing is the pace of speech. That's truly great. Sometimes I think, sometimes I just myself forget, whether I'm speaking too fast or too slow. But the same speed, maintaining that space, it was a great thing because that helped the audience to follow up all your ideas, to, at the same time to digest the information, which was quite new and a number of information. And I have more time, okay? And as well, I really liked the way of connecting the information, how Yernur, had this idea to link the great stories of the past and link them to the present stories, because that provided me with a lot of interest now to this your city, Taras city. And that made these stories really interesting, and I was like, wow, really, you had these stories? Especially I was shocked actually by the third story of terrorist attack. I was like, where was I, So the content was still devastating a little bit at times, but especially the love story really, but still catching the audience's attention as well as mine. The couple of things, so there were twice the thing with this, putting the slides on, and that was taking away a little bit of people's attention. And as I said, sometimes it was just a bit too slow, and the main thing, you used the floor greatly as well, but when there was a music on, and then you would step out to this side and you would just, turn with your back. So I didn't really like it. Sorry to say that in front of us, but that really, because at that moment I just started looking around and people started talking to each other or, doing something else. There was music, but there was nothing more eye-catching than you, actually. And you were turning away. And I thought, okay. But the great thing is not using notes and knowing the things you're saying, and up to the project itself, which is resources for informing. Yes, we had a great resource to inform us tonight about Taras City. Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gaukhar. Gaukhar represented one of the main values of Toastmasters worldwide, which is integrity. It was a great speech, but some parts of it could be improved. And Gaukhar was very honest, and which is why we appreciate honest and constructive feedback. I see some people have already started voting, so if you see small pieces of paper, please vote for the speaker who, spoke to you the most. I wouldn't say the best speaker, because all of the speakers are great. We are not here to compete. So vote for the one whose speech spoke to you. We have 1 minute. And the best evaluator. The evaluator who spoke to you. And now we're moving on to the most exciting part, where not only members and prepared speakers can take part, but also our guests. Our table topic session will be led by Zhunussova, so I pass my word to Zhunussova. While you're voting, just pass on the votes. Anyways, we'll start the table topic session.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Zhunussova, and I will be your table topic master for tonight. Let me briefly explain the purpose of table topic session. Table topic is an excellent way for members and for guests to improve their spontaneous speaking skills. Everyone can volunteer to speak in front of the audience. You'll be given from 1 to 2 minutes to speak, to answer my questions. You'll be given feedbacks at the end of the session. Please try to remember speaker's name, because at the end of the session you all need to vote for the best speaker. If anyone doesn't want to answer questions, please raise your hand now. So everyone is fine, yeah? Okay, so I will ask anyone. Topic for today's table topic session is daily habits of successful people. Aristotle said that 95% of everything you do is a result of a habit. So your success is found in your daily routine. According to research, every habit can be learned or unlearned. By unlearning, I mean when you turn your bad habits into good habits. So how you develop good habits? To develop good habits, you need just to repeat it every single day. So from the moment you wake up in the morning, you start doing different things. So it's all habits. So my first question for you is, what's the best habit you have when you wake up, when you start your day? So who would like to volunteer? Okay, maybe my dad? So what's the best habit you have when you start your day?
Well, hello everyone. I think the best habit I practice now is to drink two glasses of water every day. Maybe it helps me to start my metabolism, like the digestion process. Usually I do eat meat the day before in the evenings. Maybe that's why I need give some relaxation or maybe water therapy for my stomach. And also, I have a good habit to sing in the mornings. I think it helps me to improve my vocal voice modulation, intonations, emotions. I do it more than before since I got a car. So no one listens to me. I just go. Maybe some people see that I'm just opening my mouth, screaming, and so this is my two
From the blog of Brian Tracy, if you know him, he's an entrepreneur and professional speaker. He mentions three main habits of millionaires. So I would like to share with you today these three main habits. First habit is to plan your day the night before. So every minute spent on planning saves you 10 minutes in execution. Every evening you should sit and write all the things you need to do for the coming day. And if you, by any chance, if you miss to write the things, it should be first things you do in the morning. It will help you to keep track on things you do during the day. So my second question for you is, do you like to plan your day? Why yes or why not? Do you plan your day? And how do you plan your day?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ayim. Yes, I do like planning my day. Actually, I plan not only the day, but I plan for the whole month, like the photo shooting, the making the videos, the working meetings, having fun. You know, I just separate each activity for the month. I just write them, and then I try to divide each action for the days of the week. Like Monday, I will hang out in the evening. Tuesday, I will do some. Tuesday, I will go somewhere. Like Thursday, I do have the Toastmasters meeting. You know, each action I just divide to each day, and I also do plan my time, each hour actually. Like from starting at 5 o'clock. Then having my breakfast, preparing how to say, again, preparing the breakfast, then reading for 2 hours, then making my makeup, then getting clothes, and then just going out. So I just try to plan because it is not always everything goes by plan, but it usually helps you to be organized and try to implement everything what you wanted to do and be successful, really. Thank you.
So the second habit mentioned by Brian Tracy, what most successful people do, is setting priorities on your list before you start your day. So when you have the list of things you need to complete during a day, you need to specify what is the main things from the list. So it's like according to 80-20 rule, out of 10 tasks you will have 2 most important. So you need to identify which one is most important and set a priority for this task. My next question for you will be, how do you think your daily routines could be improved? Any volunteers? How do you think your daily routines could be improved? Maybe you're doing something not quite right and you'd like to improve it. Anyone? Yes, please.
how we can improve is to stop procrastinating. That's my biggest thing that I usually do, especially when I have free time, because I usually do organize my day, like at the morning or at the evening, but then I start postponing and do some little stuff, like I need to finish putting my let's say bed in order or something like that, and I end up spending like half of a day on the things that I actually shouldn't be doing, but I decided to do that. So that's the first thing. Stop procrastinating, and again, it's good to again prioritize and start doing everything in the morning, finish it, and then do the other things that are less important the next day, or the later on. That's it, probably. Procrastination is the biggest fault. I don't know.
So the third habit is completing the most important task first. So when you start your day, begin your day with focusing on the most important task and do it until you finish it. So your life is full of different projects. When you prioritize your main task, try to focus on it and do it until completion. And your success will be measured by how many successful projects you finished. My next question for you will be, how do you achieve your goals, and are you achieving your goals now? Who would like to volunteer?
Hi everybody. It's my second time talking in front of this audience. I'm happy to be here. And about goals, I can't say that I am achieving my all goals because it's changing all the time, because I am that person who is very changeable. So how do I achieve my goals? Nothing different, like as a normal person, I just work hard, but not very hard. I'm supposed to work, but I try at least. And my one very big goal, I guess, which I'm really proud of, is having scholarship, like governmental scholarship from this government. And I achieved that by working hard, by working more than 2 years at the university teaching and working in scientific world environment with scientists and working on myself and having these goals and passing different kind of exams. And finally I got my goals, and I had been working for that goal, like say for 3 years or something. And then I got my goals and I went to the overseas country and I did some courses, and I'm still about to continue my degree, like to enhance my knowledge about this particular field. So just one, way to get your goals done is just by working hard, sacrificing something from your maybe personal life or maybe just from your whole life, and just don't be lazy, because it's our first, I guess, problem issue in our mentality, I would say. So I guess just one answer for this kind of achievement, the way to achieve your goals is just hard work and sacrifice something from your life. Thank you.
Very much. So if you can develop these habits of the most successful people, you can be successful too. So please write the task you need to do, prioritize them, and start from the most important task. There are also there are good habits and bad habits. good habits are hard to form but easy to live with, but bad habits, vice versa, are easy to, or hard to form, easy to form and hard to live with. So what bad habits you have and how do we are, what we are doing to get rid of these bad habits? Anyone would like to answer this question? Does anyone have bad habits? No one? Everyone is like perfect. Yeah?
Good evening, dear friends, again. I think one of my bad habits was like spending a lot of time in social networks. Like almost, I think everyone has faced a problem, maybe not everyone, but since I work as SMM specialist in my center where I work, I have to spend a lot of time in Facebook posting, making the posts in Facebook, in VK, and in one moment I found out that when I go to sleep, I go to sleep with Instagram. When I wake up with Instagram, and once I was tired of that and I decided not to use all that applications, and I have deleted all of them, even WhatsApp. It was very difficult to communicate with people, but if you really want, you can find a way. And I think after that 2 weeks when I wasn't using all that applications, I had a less desire like to use them, and I started to read more books. I started to do a lot of things which I was procrastinating, and I think everyone should think of that. Find your time bandits and find them. Thank you.
If you know, there is an application in Apple Store which called Beethoven. It's developed by Kazakh developers. It's about daily habits from the most successful peoples in the world. Does anyone use this application and would like to share his experience of using it?
Unfortunately.
Okay. No one.
I know about this application and I know the founder.
Would you like to What's your name?
I think this application is called the Daily Habits. Is mostly about helping people to build the habits, and I think that one of the main ideas that that was a foundation of this application was a book called The Power of Habit by Daniel Pink, which basically just explains how you can form any habit by using 3 easy steps. The first steps, it says stimulus. So basically, for instance, one of my goals that I want to achieve in the nearest future is to enhance my Spanish fluency. So for that, first step, I need some stimuli. And by stimuli, I mean something that's gonna constantly kind of remind me, all right, you have to learn Spanish, you have to do that. Well, you need to immigrate from this country, that's why you have to learn Spanish. So one of my stimulus, that was a joke, just by the way. One of my stimulus is that in the beginning of each day, I go to Duolingo, which is an app about language learning, and just because I need to wake up, and that just boosts my energy and my brain energy, so to say. I'm just using some exercises on Duolingo. The second part is called routine, and basically just the habit itself that you're doing. And in my case, it's doing this exercise. So stimuli is something that will make you want to do this. Routine is something that you're doing while you're doing this habit. And then the last step, which is the third step, is called so-called satisfaction. For instance, the Duolingo app is built so that in the end of each lesson you're having 10 points, and then you can collect all the points through, and then just gives you a lot of just gives you a lot of kind of rating which you build on, and then you can buy new stuff, like you can learn how to flirt in Spanish, or you can learn how to do another stuff. So I highly encourage you to use that app, and Arman's app as well, which is called Daily Habit, but I'm not sure. It's paid, so that's why I didn't buy it yet.
Jean, it was very informative. Actually, I downloaded this application yesterday and it was for free. So you can still download it and use it because I liked it because interface is good and you can find any like person which you like, celebrities, stars, actors, like some developers, and just read their habits, what they do, and try to follow them, and maybe you'll develop something in yourself. So it's quite useful. You can download and use it. So by following the rules of habits of successful people, you can be successful too. And every success, every big goal or achievement starts with the small steps. So please try to improve your life, improve your daily habits, and that will lead you to more productive and efficient life. So I hope it was useful. Thank you. Sorry. The names of the speakers who will volunteer today was Madhyar, Ayum, Dina, Balnur, Shadra, and Ayjan. You will vote later. Thank you. If you could just ask people who were our impromptu speakers to stand up and just remind everyone who you are. Madhyar, would you stand up and wave to everyone? And smile. Vote for him. Ayam. Vote for her. Dina.
Dina.
Baldur. Shadra. And Ayjan. So please vote for the speaker who spoke the most to you. And now it's time for our evaluation session. So I will ask our accountor to give a report, and please don't be too harsh on us.
This will be a short report because everything, I suppose, was good. Our Toastmaster Gaukhar used 5R, Sultanat used 10 times R, and 2 so, Andrei 7R, Yernur only 2R. Great job. Jansaya used 5R, Madhyar 5R, 4 so, Ayam 5R, Dina 4R, Balnur just 7R, and 2 Jadra 3R, Ayjan 3R. Dilber, your job was excellent. Greg just 6R, Yurmurat 5R, and Hedakar 6R, and 3 That's it.
Thank you. Now I would like our grammarian to give her report, and please tell us how many people used the word of the day.
Hello again. I found some few grammatical mistakes in Andrei's speech and in Yernur's speech. I mean, I'm afraid you two were really devastatingly, you have really good charisma or something like that. So I couldn't stop myself from listening to you. Yeah. So yeah, that's, so mainly you two have grammatical mistakes. So I just skipped all the other people, I guess, because of that. So yeah, you said, Andrei, you said I was born Soviet Union, so you skipped in. You said it's mess without e. Then you said people dying. I guess it should be people are dying or people were dying. And you said who not are like us. Maybe it should be different, constructed a bit differently, like who are not like us. Yeah, and that's actually it. So yeah, and Yernur, now it's your turn. You said is the legends. It should be are the legends. Then you said it has always been great and it is. It should be and it still is. Without you used it 2 times. So then you said to the world history, which should be in the world history. And then you said but couple still decided to be together. It should be but the couple or a couple. Then other things were okay. Then you said words of loving. I think this is a bit about pronunciation, and it should be worth of loving or something like that. But you did great. Both of you used the word of the day. So it's all about you guys today, I guess. Yeah. Gaukhar used the word of the day also. So I guess there were only 3 people who used the word of the day. Yeah. Great job, everyone. I'm really pleased about your English level. And also, I wanted to say that I liked Saltanat's speech very much. You did a great job too. What else? Yeah, and the other people from table topic speakers, they made a few mistakes as well, but they were not so obviously wrong. I don't think that I have to mention them.
Thank you so much. And now we have our timer who will give our very short report.
Thank you very much. So, good evening. Everybody had a great job today, and you know, the time is a very important thing in our meeting. So, in the speaker 1, first was Saltanat, 4 minutes out of 6. It's a very great time for you. Speaker 2, Andrei, it was 8 out of 7. So you extended the maximum time by 1 minute. So speaker 3, Zhunussova, was on time. So great job. And evaluation, Greg, 344 out of 3. Evaluation 2, Yermurat, 308. Evaluation 3, Yadika, 455 out of 3. You extended the maximum time by 2 minutes. Table topics, it was very good, except Balnur was 208 out of 2, and Ayjan 234 out of 2. But at least it was a very good job. And by the way, I just want to tell about the new application that Bauer showed me. It's a Toastmaster timer on his phone, and it helps me very good because it shows when you need to show the yellow, red, and green card. So thank you very much for
Now it's an exciting part for us when we ask our dear guest Dilbar from Flushing Toastmasters to give her a general evaluation on the meeting. We're very scared, but we're very excited, so please come and tell us what you think.
Thank you very much again. Actually, I should say that I'm the one who's a little bit scared. As you know, some part of the final remarks of the meeting, I just want to say that I am so impressed with how well organized the club is run. And it was very obvious, not only from the email correspondence that I had with Alia here and also with Gaukhar, but also with the agenda that I saw when I walked into the room. Everything is so written in detail. And even the times that I remember asking her, does everyone really stick to this time? And I'm like, but it's a very, very clear agenda, and it tells everyone who comes in here what to expect. And I love that everyone has a chance and everyone is encouraged to introduce themselves when either they, or identify themselves at least, especially for your new club officers, and also for anyone who comes up for table topics. You ask them to say, hey, this is who I am, remember me. And I think that's a really great way to keep guests feel like they're welcome and make everyone feel like they're invited. And also I want to mention that all of our speakers tonight handle distractions like pros, especially my friend here. I mean, I guess sort of speaking on that note, I think I might want to suggest that in terms of people coming in and out of the room, and especially as I've noticed, a third of the room has already left, that whenever people do come in or out, that perhaps we request or announce that maybe once speakers stop speaking, we can have them come in. Perhaps like at the end when they're walking in, we can ask them to stay by the door, just to minimize distractions for the speakers. And also, I'm wondering, does the club have any signage that it usually uses? Like a banner or something? Just kidding, just kidding. So, yeah?
We have one here outside.
Oh, it's outside. Oh, okay, all right. I was just making sure you knew it was outside. That was also going to be another thing that I was going to mention, like, oh, because I guess I just walked right in. I was too distracted.
And we just had the re-elections, and so the new surgeon of arms is not here today.
Okay, okay, so all the equipment is like
so it was
different
the
place.
Toastmaster, kudos to Gaukhar actually, who had to handle it with a few team members as much as she.
Right. No. I was going to ask like if there were signs outside, because I was like, I wasn't sure if I saw that.
Thank you.
And another thing that I really would like to hear more of is when speakers do take the podium, that we all try to give them a very warm round of applause. Something to make everyone feel welcome, like we want to really hear them speak and we want to hear what's on their minds. And I want to thank our wonderful, wonderful evaluation team, Araylim, Aygelim, and Yerkulan, right there. And also I want to thank you. You were very nice. You said, you did a great job. You only had 6 A's. And once again, thank you very much to the leadership here. For me, having come from abroad, I really didn't know what to expect. I mentioned coming here to Kazakhstan to my club members while we were having an officers meeting. I'm the secretary. And they said, well, why don't you go to Toastmasters? You'll be there for so long. And I said, oh, okay, sure. So we Googled it together and we all saw the Almaty Toastmasters Facebook, the page, website. And we did some cyber stalking. And you know, I really wasn't sure if the pictures or the videos would really match what we see online, but I'm so surprised. I counted. You have over 35 members in attendance. And I think that's really great. And I mean, I don't know how many people here are full-fledged members or are even here first-time guests.
Members, stand up.
Maybe 12.
Oh, wow. Okay. Are there any first-time guests? Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Help convert them to Toastmasters.
Free tickets next session.
Well, I mean, for you just as much as for me, this is also a new experience, and I hope you have something very positive to take away from it. And congratulations to our first icebreaker speech. I look very forward to being here when you do your second one. If not, keep going. And also same to our 2 other speakers tonight. You did wonderful, wonderful jobs. I just want to say thank you very much for giving very detailed and vivid illustrations for us. Oh no, for you? Yes. Yeah, no, the imagery was very great. You helped us put ourselves into other people's shoes. that we might not ordinarily be thinking about. And also for Yevnush, you are, it's very obvious that you are a very natural and powerful and very commanding speaker. One suggestion I might have for you, as you move across the stage, you can use it with better purpose if you keep your point at one part of the stage, and then when you finish that thought, then you move across the stage. Just something to think about. But otherwise, thank you so much for welcoming me here, and I hope to be back again.
Thank you, Gaukhar, so much. You don't even realize how valuable your feedback is. I think everyone took something out of your evaluation. So I would like to thank you on behalf of the leadership team and the membership and guests. So we would be very happy to have you while you're here. So now let's announce the best speakers, best evaluators, and best table topic session. So it was a heated, voting session, and I think I should note that somebody wrote on this piece of paper that everyone was the best, and I quite agree. So we have a really nice message here which says, "Legends still live among us." So I think we should thank Zhunussova for that message. The best speaker tonight is Zhunussova. So you get the ribbon. Now, evaluation was so good, so we had a tie between Gaukhar and Murad, who both became best evaluators. Congratulations. Thank you. And our best table topic speaker is our guest, Ayjan. Congratulations. Now that the official part is over, I would like to thank everyone for committing and spending your time, because if not for us, there would be no club, and we come here every week at 7:30 here at Tehran University. So please come. If you came for the first time, talk to members or me, and we would fill your, take your contact details. I would like to thank everyone, and I will see you at the social hangout later. Let's take a picture with Dilbar for the Flushing Toastmasters in New York. And she could show the picture to her fellow Toastmasters. With that, I would like only to fill the roles for the next 2 weeks, if that's possible.
Could everyone gather in this part of the room, please?
We have 4 speakers. We have 3 speakers, and we might need a backup speaker. Is there anyone who wishes to speak or to give an ice-breaking speech? That's open to the guests as well. Okay, we would need evaluators. Guys? And we need grammarian, accountant, and timer, and these roles are open to guests as well. Okay, if you wish to take a role, just talk to me after the meeting. And with that, I adjourn the meeting closed. Thank you.